After the results of the Maharashtra election and the fact that there will be three members of the Gandhi family in parliament, there's a lot to talk about in terms of what shape and form national politics might take. With me now is one of India's foremost political analysts and authors, Neerja Chowdhury, veteran journalist, as well as the writer of an excellent book on India's prime ministers. Neerja, always a pleasure, and thank you for your time. Let me start by asking the question that is top of the mind for so many people. Maharashtra tells us that the opposition was not able to build on what seemed to be an advantage that they had wrested from the BJP in containing the power of the Modi brand in the Lok Sabha elections. Less than 6 months later, they've not been able to convert it into anything meaningful in Maharashtra. What does that tell us about the state of national politics, the state of play?
I think it tells us a lot about the state of the opposition and, of course, the ruling group. It tells us you cannot rest on your laurels. It tells us you cannot take an opponent like the BJP and the NDA lightly, even if you got a very convincing victory in the Lok Sabha election, and that was a whopping victory. 30 out of 48 seats in a national election where Narendra Modi was bidding for a third term as Prime Minister. And it wasn't a state election. And yet the MVA managed to get that number. And I think the winning axis was twofold. One, there was a Maratha Muslim Dalit combination. Dalits veered to this side very convincingly. Marathas, Muslims, Dalits, as you know, have been a winning combination over the decades. First for the Congress party, then also for the NCP, and then again in 2024 election. And there was deep sympathy for Mr. Sharad Pawar and Mr. Uddhav Thackeray because their parties had been split. And one group had joined, or both parties had joined the Mahayuti on the ruling side, on what became the ruling side. So both these factors put together gave them this victory. Now, I don't think the Mahayuti and the BJP brass in Delhi lost any time to course correct. They really knuckled down to how they can turn around the situation. And Maharashtra is supremely important because it's the second largest state in the country with 48 Lok Sabha seats after Uttar Pradesh. And we all know it's the financial hub. It's where money comes from. Money is made, generated, industrial center. And we know all that it entails for any party. Then there is the whole Dharavi project, which is being watched. The Dharavi development project, which is being watched very, very carefully. And the MVA leaders had said if they come to power, they will stop it. So I think there was a lot at stake in Maharashtra. And it was clear that coming after the Haryana victory for the BJP, whoever won Maharashtra would get the advantage politically. They will seize the initiative nationally. And that is exactly what has happened.
Now, it's interesting that you raised Dharavi. Rahul Gandhi has been singularly focused on Gautam Adani. He has demanded his arrest after a case based in the United States of America was revealed in the headlines, and the Congress has been releasing one after the other. Some would say quite complex, some would say quite sophisticated, depending on your point of view, video on Gautam Adani. But what the Maharashtra result shows you, quite like Rafale in 2019, is that these are sort of esoteric, technical issues that Mr. Gandhi shows a lot of interest in, but the voter doesn't either understand them, or if the voter understands them, the voter doesn't care. Is there a gap between what Rahul Gandhi has been focused on and what the voter is thinking about?
I think one, that it exercises the elite, but it doesn't exercise ordinary people. That's very clear. And that maybe, we don't know, it may be other issues that are more important for the ordinary person. It may also be that the opposition and Rahul Gandhi and his party have not been able to translate the issue in the political lexicon with which the ordinary person identifies. You will recall Barkha Dutt in Rajiv Gandhi's time. The bribes paid, the middlemen involved, But buffers became everybody's language. I remember people used to talk, you went to a shop and people would say, "Arey, isme kitna buffers hai? Matlab, kitni bribe di gayi hai isme?" So that that message went home. That has not happened, in the case of Adani and Ambani. Crony capitalism, yeah, it's, yes, maybe the ruling party helps the rich, maybe, but they also give to the poor. Now, in the course correction that the Mahayuti put into motion, and Eknath Shinde, chief minister, was leading this uh, move, was social welfareism. And this Ladki Bahan Yojana, which is a pickup from the Madhya Pradesh experiment, where it paid them very rich dividends, the BJP, and they came back to power. They put this into motion. And Barkha, I met women in the field. I went to Marathwada. And mine is a very, I would say, very anecdotal, random story. It's not comprehensive. But whoever I met, without exception, a woman, all of them had got 7,500 rupees in their hand. They were all excited. These were Dalit women, Maratha women, OBC women. And they said, last time, the Dalit women told me, and they said that last time we had voted for the Congress, our whole family. This time my husband may vote for the Congress, but I am going to vote for Shinde. They didn't, by the way, talk about Mahayuti. They really rooted for Shinde, gave him the credit, and said, Hamara bhai, he's made this possible and he will continue with this. Of course, the more educated women, I must admit, they said, will this continue? Where will the money come from? What about the financial viability of a scheme like that? What happens to other schemes? And certainly in the Mantralaya in Bombay, the officials were very worried because this scheme cannot be undone. It will be suicidal for any government to undo this. Therefore, there will be a slowing down of other development projects like the coastal road, other things in the pipeline. That is a given. So they are worried about that. But for the women, it was a enormously empowering tool. They put it to use. As I keep saying, somebody had bought a cart for vegetables, somebody got saris from Surat, they were selling it door to door, augmenting their income. It was their money, and they had the autonomy and the authority to spend it. So it was an empowering tool, no doubt about that, as far as the women were concerned.
I've been calling it the Y factor of the election instead of the X factor. But my point is, it's very associated with Eknath Shinde, who's clearly upset about not getting the chief minister's post. Do you think the alliance, is that going to be a headache for the BJP, or do you think that the BJP simply has too many seats on its own for Eknath Shinde to have much clout? Because frankly, they can form the government even without. I mean, they won't do it, but technically, numerically, they can form the government without Mr. Shinde.
Absolutely, because the numbers are stacked in such a fashion, with Ajit Pawar now supporting BJP and Devendra Fadnavis for CM. They don't need Shinde. Shinde can be out. But that's not a signal they want to give at the outset of the, term. I think that it'll, Maharashtra, as you know, and Mumbai in particularly, values political stability. So that signal is very important for the Mahayuti to give. But Shinde, he has few cards up his sleeve at the moment. And as we know, he's agreed that to accept a BJP chief minister. He will do whatever the prime minister and the home minister tell him to do. But then suddenly, mysteriously, he's taken off for his village. He's ill. And I think while the RSS Barkha has rooted very strongly for Fadnavis to become chief minister, and the ground level sentiment and the mandate clearly points that he should be the chief minister, but they're not sure whether the top brass in Delhi want it, or they will go along with it, because we must remember that Haryana and Maharashtra have been delivered to the BJP by the RSS. They put their best foot forward. They've done door-to-door campaigning, and they're, as I say, strongly rooting for Fadnavis. So the question that comes up is, will Eknath Shinde be an Ankush over Fadnavis? Himself an Ankush, used by others as an ankush in the future. Because he has been promised what he would really like. They say that he's angling for home department is not what BJP is going to give him. He'd be very happy with urban development, PWD, irrigation, which are the weighty ministries, which are considered, the powerful ministries in a certain way. And he's agreed, I'm told, to be deputy chief minister because he would like to be in Bombay. His team would like him to be in Bombay rather than come to the center. So the role of Shinde in the future, to rein in Fadnavis so he doesn't completely have his way unbridled. A lot of things were said about his last term in the way he did things. So I think things will fall into place, but obviously they are making Fadnavis sweat that little bit before he gets a final prize.
Interesting idea of Ankush. That's how even the Lok Sabha results were seen vis-a-vis the Prime Minister, that there was a containment of this otherwise unstoppable force called Narendra Modi. Now that takes us to a very interesting question. Some analysts are arguing that Haryana and now Maharashtra, as you say, delivered by the RSS, are now showing that the BJP is learning to win elections without Modi front and center. Of course, Modi is always in the backdrop. He's the prime minister of the country. He's in his third term. Nobody can take that away from him. But he's not playing the role that he once used to play in assembly elections. Do you believe that the BJP is winning elections or learning to win elections without Modi? Or do you believe that Modi is very clearly the big brand and the voter knows that?
I think it's a bit of both. Modi is still popular, or I would say he's not unpopular. He continues. But I think the BJP got a sense that possibly they had overexposed him. Because I heard these voices certainly in Uttar Pradesh during the Lok Sabha election. बहुत हो गया, वही चीज आ रही है. So I think they've also done correction there. So whether it's in Haryana or in Maharashtra, it's been the local leaders who come to the fore that much more. And that has paid them dividends. So I think they have put in place a machinery, a mechanism for winning election. And that is the organization, that's also the working together, the schemes that have been put out, and not leaving anything to chance. They are, there's something to learn from the BJP on that score.
Absolutely. What is the place of Hindutva that you see either in this campaign or going forward? And I ask this for two reasons. One, Ladki Behna is nothing to do with Hindutva. It's a social welfareism scheme. But there was a great deal of debate over Ajit Pawar's, over Yogi Adityanath's Batenge to Katenge. Even a BJP partner like Ajit Pawar objected to that slogan. The Prime Minister then comes up with Ek hai to safe hai. Now, juxtapose that also, though the BJP says we have nothing to do with it, but some of their base is rooting for it. These surveys of mosques, Sambal in Uttar Pradesh, Ajmer Chisti Dargah in Rajasthan, where the petition has been accepted, sooner or later the party, the center, the state governments where the BJP is, they will have to take a position because the court will issue notices. What is the role of this kind of hard Hindutva? One had thought that after the BJP slipped below majority, the allies, Chandrababu Naidu, Nitish Kumar, would not be in favor of that kind of Hindutva politics.
Barkha, this is a question: to what extent did the Hindutva card work this time? Is something one would like to study a little more. Look at it more deeply. It is true that some Maratha vote broke away. The earlier combination of Maratha Muslim Dalit, which was a winning combination, that I think got diluted this time for the MVA. A part of it was because of women, but it was also in some way a consolidation of non-Maratha communities. Leave Dalits aside, but others, the OBCs were solidly, and there were the upper caste, the middle class, and I think also some Marathas did break away from the NVA. Now, was the Hindutva card, the batenge katenge, did that have an effect? I don't have the answer to this question. During the campaign, it did not seem to be the case. In the Lok Sabha elections, it was in fact people said, you know, ठीक है, I'm proud to be a Hindu, but बहुत हो गया Hindu-Muslim conflict. That kind of a note was struck. Now, the BJP seems to be playing this card again and again. Obviously, they think it works. And it may also be that the extreme right within the larger Sangh Parivar is something that they are catering to. Somebody, you know, in the BJP had said to me several years ago that the real challenge to Modi will come from the extreme right. So is this happening? What we see in Sambal, what we see now in Ajmer, these are new kind of, you know, which one thought had new fires being lit.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually suit the central government. You see, if you look at the fact that the GDP for this quarter is below 6%,
That's right.
Any social strife cannot be good for the economy. Just leaving
That's right.
aside ideology for one moment, right? So
That's
this is a
right.
very interesting idea that Modi is now not being considered right enough by the extreme right.
Well, there is a section obviously inside. And my question is it posing a challenge? What role would people like Mohan Bhagwat have to play in this? They are now backing the BJP. They had held back in the Lok Sabha election in some states after Mr. JP Nadda's statement that the BJP did not need any handholding by the Sangh, and that had made them unhappy. They are also asserting that somebody be made the national president of the party who is organizationally strong and is not a yes person of the government, doesn't just toe the line. So the organization has to be strengthened. So I think many parleys have taken place between the RSS and the BJP, and they have talked about it. And clearly some things have got sorted out because Haryana and Maharashtra both show that the Sangh put its best foot forward.
So you're saying that whoever is the next BJP president, and there is talk of Bhupinder Yadav, I don't know if you agree with that speculation. Earlier there was talk of Fadnavis. That's clearly not happening after Maharashtra. Whoever it's going to be,
ML Khattar.
ML Khattar. I mean, we don't know. With the Sangh, you never know. It can be somebody we're not even thinking of. But whoever it is, the RSS will have a big, if not the primary say in it.
With the way things are today, yes. And the BJP dependent on the RSS to win the elections, yes, I think the RSS will have some say. But it's also true that this cannot be done without the concurrence of Narendra Modi or the Home Minister. It will have to be both sides.
Very interesting. But where does this leave the Congress? And let me elaborate on my question. You see, at one level, Priyanka Gandhi's one Wayanad, brother and sister, along with mother, are going to be in parliament. And that is going to be a sort of powerful collection of voices for the Congress party. But every assembly election since the Lok Sabha verdict, the Congress has underperformed or performed poorly. So Jammu and Kashmir, their ally, the National Conference, said that the Congress did not pull its weight, and that reflected in the Jammu numbers. Haryana, miscalculation, too much dependence on Huda, counter polarization, the BJP doing a good job, Haryana slips away, which was a sure shot they believed for them. Jharkhand, they get lifted by the tailwinds of Hemant Soren and his wife Kalpana Soren, the JMM. And Maharashtra is the third consecutive defeat for the Congress party in assembly elections at a time when it really believed, I think, that it had at least a tight fight. There was no tight fight. Where does this leave the Congress party?
I know that's a question many people are asking. Where does it leave the Congress party, the main opposition party, which was on the upswing after the Lok Sabha elections, and that those speeches by Rahul Gandhi in Parliament, which gave new heart to the entire opposition. So yes, but the Congress is going for the old narrative, what it used in the Lok Sabha election. caste census, for instance. Caste census is a card which is supposed to bring the OBCs to your side. But the completely contrary, moves are taking place. The OBCs are going to the other side, towards the BJP. And you are keeping on talking about the caste census. You talked about the constitution. The constitution had resonance with the Dalits and OBCs in the Lok Sabha election. They thought reservation will end for them. This time, one saw no traction on the ground, as far as the constitution was concerned. So then the Congress has not got its narrative right. Of course, people worked hard in their constituencies in Maharashtra. Is not to say they did not work hard, but the Congress's main challenge is the decimation. It's a strong word to use, of the organization of the party. And Priyanka Gandhi Vadra coming into parliament, of course, will give, with brother Rahul, they'll take a very assertive stand vis-a-vis, and they'll take on the government, no doubt about it. And that should give a new impetus to the opposition also in parliament. But the main challenge for brother, sister is how do you revive the organization? And that's hard work, Barkha. Hard, painstaking, unglamorous work that has to be done, because the Congress party has forgotten how to work hard. I hate to say this, it's become a cliche, but it's become a drawing room party. And somewhere it's got to get a new cadre, and you just got to build that organization, whether it's in UP, whether it's in Maharashtra, whether it's in Haryana or elsewhere.
Absolutely. I think that's very powerfully put. The Congress has become a drawing room party that has forgotten to work hard. Neerja Chowdhury, we leave it there. We'll hope for a longer conversation in person soon, I hope. There's a lot to talk about. Thank you, Neerja. Always a pleasure. Take care and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.